20 more movies in 3 years? How does that number make sense? I don't know if I can make sense out of this Marvel math. Let's start by talking about their latest release, The Marvels. According to the Screen Rant, The Marvels' early box office projections were 72% worse than Quantumania. This was a follow-up to the release of Captain Marvel, which was one of the most debated Marvel movies of all time. However, this can't solely be attributed to Captain Marvel, as of the last few years, MCU movies have just not been doing well. And it's seemingly because the fans are now starting to realize how mundane the movies are. It's important to understand the perspective though. The MCU began its massive success with Iron Man, which later led to the beginning of their golden period, the Avengers. Where does one even begin to explain the back-to-back blockbuster hits of the Avengers? There were unforgettable releases such as the Guardians of the Galaxy and Black Panther, which became movies that you simply couldn't miss out on. But why were they so loved?
And I am Iron Man.
These movies not only brought in emotional storylines, but also brought in a lot of diversity and representation in Hollywood. Marvel started to make movies with a very diversified cast, and that is something they can be applauded for. They have included so many underrepresented communities. They have broken misogynistic and racial themes and created empowering movies. However, this is also where they started to stray, and issues started to emerge. They seem to be solely focusing on representation and making the plot and dialogues a complete afterthought. So when did the golden era of the MCU end? Possibly immediately after Avengers Endgame. The humor is repetitive and almost cringeworthy. Of course, they had massive success with Tom Holland as Spider-Man, but what about the rest? It's evident that MCU had a plan, but not a very well thought out plan. Because they really believed killing off characters like Iron Man, Captain America, and then destroying characters like Doctor Strange, Thor, Daredevil, just to name a few. And then introducing an array of new characters into MCU would result in positive reception. And maybe that would have been the case had they not thrown out character depth and storytelling out the window. This is just about the movies. The comics are an entirely separate argument, which we will shed light upon briefly. Needless to say, all of this led to a massive round of consistent backlash onto the producers of the movies and the writers of the comics. So how did they respond back to their audience? By calling them out for being racist and sexist. So how does Marvel plan to recover from this catastrophe? The only way we can think is by scrapping whatever existing plan they have and by rebranding the whole of MCU. Refocusing onto proper writing and storytelling, and characters with a good backstory. No such reconstruction is in sight for now, but they are looking for new writers for the comics and the movies. They are, however, expected to push out 20 movies by 2027, so there is no clarity on their direction for now, only speculation. So, what are your thoughts on the MCU right now? Are you hopeful about improvements? Are you expecting any? What are your personal criticisms? Let us know in the comments down below and follow Cablegram for more.